As Chief Executive Officer of Ronald McDonald House, Northern New South Wales, Newcastle-born and bred Ross Bingham is passionate about improving the world for kids. He has close links with McDonald's, having worked for 17 years as a restaurant manager and later in marketing. He volunteered at Ronald McDonald House when it opened in 1991, only to be appointed as Executive Officer in 1996 and then CEO of Ronald McDonald House, Northern New South Wales. Ross believes the best leaders don't have a firm line between family and work, but rather strive to be a great leader in all aspects of life. Welcome, Ross. Thanks for joining us.
That's a pleasure to be here, thanks.
To begin, could you tell us a little about your career path?
Yeah, certainly. I started back when I was 18. I finished at school and I got a part-time job with McDonald's. My intention was to have a gap year, basically, and then go to uni the following year. I wanted to do aeronautical design, and it's something you had to do at the Sydney University, so hence the 12 months off. But by the end of the year, they offered me a traineeship as a McDonald's manager. I worked for a licensee for 17 years from then, running several McDonald's restaurants in Newcastle as a manager, and then a bit of marketing as well across those 3 or 4 restaurants. During that time, we raised quite a bit of money to build a Ronald McDonald House at the John Hunter Children's Hospital. With the fact that there was a brand new hospital being built, it was an opportunity for us to get to put a Ronald McDonald House there. So I was involved in fundraising for the house, and then I was there at the very first sod turning, which Craig Johnson actually did, and then when it opened, I was there on opening day and involved in that way, and then my wife and I volunteered from scratch as part of the volunteer force at the house.
So what do you believe has shaped your leadership style?
Well, those original 17 years with McDonald's, I guess, there was a lot of processes. Particularly there was to-do lists, there was lists for everything, checklists for everything. And I think that that's something that I've become accustomed to, and something that I expect to have in an organisation, and something that I've developed in Ronald McDonald House over that time. As a leader, I feel like I'm very much a person who is part of the team, and I expect my organisation to actually pick up their responsibilities and work with me as such. I don't really feel like the top-end leader position where I make all the decisions. I certainly rely on my people to make the decisions that I've allowed them to be accountable for.
Do you believe being a leader in the not-for-profit space is different to the for-profit space?
I think being a leader in not-for-profit some time ago was quite different. It was very cottage industry and very, you had to operate you expected to operate at a fairly low level. You accepted that you could make mistakes. You could, just do your best, and that's what it was all about. But in the more recent times, I would say, in the last 10 plus years, there's been significant change in leading a not-for-profit to the level now that I feel like there's very little difference between not-for-profit and for-profit when it comes to leading an organisation. We have the same responsibilities, we're audited, we're transparent in everything we do, we have accountabilities across every same area from WHS through to HR. And I think it's more and more about being a professional leader and leading people and running a high-quality organisation.
Ross, how do you define the difference between a manager and a leader?
When I think of manager and leader, they both do work together in some ways, but a manager, I feel, is very process-driven. It's about ticking boxes and achieving KPIs and all of those very obvious transactions that happen in a business. Whereas being a leader, I feel, is much more of a lifestyle. It's how your personal standards, your moral standards, and what you expect from yourself, and transferring that across to your organisation. So I feel like leading is all about you. It's all about your attitude and your responsibilities and your life ambitions, who you'd like to be, what you'd like to make a difference on in the world. And then transferring that same quality back to your constituents, whether they be program leaders or senior leaders or volunteers. Everyone has that responsibility to lead, and I think some of the the best leaders are family. So when it comes to running a family, if you're a good family leader, I think that shows the qualities of what a good leader would be in business life. So compartmentalising family one way and your business another way, I don't think that's the best thing. I think that attitude that you have at home about how you lead your family and your children, your own personal ambitions, should also transfer to your business and have that same attitude.
And to finish today, what local business person do you find inspiring?
There's a number of people, I guess. There's a lot of people in Newcastle that are inspiring. I think Neil Slater, I really like his progressive attitude, the fact that he likes really high quality. You look at the Scratchley's restaurant and how it operates. When you go there, you know what you're going to get and you know what to expect, and very rarely, in fact, I've never been disappointed with what I've had there. I like that he wants to further Newcastle, and he's got a really philanthropic heart as well, and just his whole attitude to never say die. It's I'd like a restaurant on top of Nobby's, I'd like a restaurant on top of the hill. Why can't we do these things? And all of us in Newcastle, I think, are thinking the same thing. Why can't Newcastle have an iconic restaurant or be an iconic place? And for that, in that way, I think Neil is a great role model and someone who I'd like to emulate in those ways. There's another gentleman, Chris Boswell, who runs Strategic IT, and he's a great supporter of charities and local. And he was there at the start for Ronald McDonald House, providing us with computers, providing us with every sort of connection and IT thoughts that he had at no charge. And then more recently, with his cloud program, which is called The Vault, he's opened that out to charities, and we've certainly embraced that. And across Ronald McDonald House, this is national as well as even global, our cloud program, as you might call it, or off-site system is equal to anywhere else in the world, and people are coming and asking me about how we do it because it works so well and we have very few problems. His team is very professional and they're available anytime, 24 hours a day, and they work hard to keep things going. I love that whole attitude, and plus he's a family man, so he's involved his family in his work and developed a great leader out of Mark, coming through in the business. And someone else who really inspires me is Kurt Fernley. Kurt Fernley inspires me in everything that he does. I've recently read his book completely because I had started his book and then I got sidetracked onto other things. And then one of my program leaders was going to do the track over in New Guinea, and I knew that Kurt had done that, and I read more into that. I heard him interviewed on a local podcast, and I was inspired again to pick up the book and to really read it right through. And his whole attitude to how would you say it? It challenged me in how I look at disability and how you think disability means having to cope with a different level of life, and sometimes you get that attitude of how lucky am I to have what I have, or how unfortunate for that person to have that disability. And I guess Kurt's book is all about ability and about what you can do with what you have. And he doesn't want to be seen as someone with a disability. He wants to be seen as someone with every opportunity that we have. And he's embraced that, and he's made something of his life, which is incredible. I think probably in Newcastle, one of the most inspiring people that I know.
Well, to be honest, I think this was a thoroughly inspiring and passionate interview. Thank you so much for your time, Ross. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.